Buhler, and today with Shankar Ganesh, we'll be going through our presentation, Billions at Risk, Android Crypto Wallets are not secure. So immediately, the main takeaway that I want you to have from this presentation is that almost all mobile crypto wallets across the spectrum have severe key management vulnerabilities, where it's basically like we've developed a bunch of safes, the door falls off, and nobody is really all that concerned that the door can possibly fall off. And so ultimately, we have a massive illusion of security within the current environment. Now, before I get to exactly why that is, I'm going to start the talk off with exactly what is a crypto wallet. What is HD key generation or hierarchical deterministic key generation? How it relates to the Android key store, the attack scenarios that are involved within the vulnerabilities that we found, and then some of the solutions that we want to present for this. So, cryptocurrency wallets at a very foundational level are about handling public and private key pairs for users. And this can be, a few different key pairs to millions, all on the same device, handling different currencies from Ethereum to Bitcoin to all the different altcoins to handling the various different use cases that aren't necessarily related to cryptocurrency. To be clear, this is all about non-custodial wallets. So we're not talking about applications in which some other entity is hanging on to those key pairs. We're talking about when a user has their own personal device that they hold these things on it. These cryptocurrency wallets allow the selling and trading and exchange of cryptocurrencies and other assets by allowing users to interact directly with the blockchain and the devices that they have. Lastly, cryptocurrency wallets play this incredibly important role in being able to interact and use Web3 applications. So imagine, a decentralized Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. These are the types of, and there's many different more that are going to be used and available on the blockchain going forward using cryptocurrency wallets. So many cryptocurrency wallets are mobile, right? Just like everything else that we use in life right now, it all goes to our phones. There are other ways to store and handle public-private key pairs, but the majority of users are using a mobile device to interact with the blockchain. That isn't to say that the majority of funds, but it is certainly the majority of users using this. Some examples of the cryptocurrency wallets that we have in this space include Exodus Trust Wallet, Engine, Koinomi. These are some of the most popular ones on the Google Play Store, ranging from 10 to a million different downloads. Now, to go into the details of the hierarchical deterministic keys in the Android key store, I'm going to pass this over to Shankar.
A cryptocurrency block has its own pair of keys, and usually none of them are related and require a user to back up and keep track of all the key pairs. However, hierarchical deterministic wallets, commonly known as HD wallets, use a single seed to generate these keys, making it possible to derive all the keys from a single seed. This allows for portability, as the user only needs to remember or back up a word sequence. Something to think about at this point is, what if someone gets this key, and how easy is it to get one? A Bitcoin Improvement Proposal, or BIP for short, is a proposal to change Bitcoin. BIP 32 introduced a method to generate infinitely many key pairs based on a single key. BIP 39 introduces the word list and details how it can be used along with BIP 32. And finally, BIP 44 introduces a standardized structure for HD wallets. This diagram here shows the structure of an HD wallet, and as depicted, it provides portability but a single point of failure. If someone has the 128-bit seed or the mnemonic phrase, they can control or monitor all assets associated with the seed. Android Key Store is a container which stores cryptographic keys. Key Store prevents a key from being extracted or exposed to the user space. This is achieved using two security measures. One, all operations on the key are carried out by a system process which a user does not have access to. And two, is to use secure hardware. These are special security chips designed to provide confidentiality and integrity of data. Majority of the devices capable of running Android 6 and above have these chips. Latest phones have another security chip. This is commonly referred to as Strongbox. This chip contains its own CPU, random number generators, and various security measures to resist tampering. The important takeaway is that keys are not extractable once generated and is bound to secure hardware. However, we find that none of the HD wallet apps use the key store and instead store the key on local device storage. This is a big problem. Any privileged application can access the storage to retrieve the key. After investigating Keystore and Strongbox, we found that Android does not provide support for any of the algorithms used in HD wallets. This leads to developers using device storage as the master seed is needed in order to create more keys. I'll now hand it over to Matt to explain some of the simple yet realistic attacks possible.
Car. So how can we actually verify that this is what's going on in this ecosystem? This is actually fairly easy. We actually looked at 8 different crypto apps, and you can verify this yourself. All you have to do is download one of these on the list. And if you go into any of these apps, you're going to find out that you can look at your recovery phrase, which is the representation of the HD master seed phrase, in every single one of these examples. What that means is a developer or privileged user also has access to that one at any time. And as soon as they have access to that, well, it's just one update away from being able to be exported off the device. And as soon as they have that key, they have every single one of the keys associated with your entire account. That's a really big problem. So there's 2 different attack scenarios that we can play out here among a few. And that this one here is basically, I'm a trusted wallet developer. I build a really nice crypto application. I get a lot of users using it. I make one update. That one update, either at the first time it's generated, or any time a user is actively using their device, I can extract the HD keys back to my servers, and I don't have to wait for this to use this attack right away. I can just analyze the set of user accounts, figure out which one's to target. I can target one a day, one a week, one a month, and no one's kind of the wiser, because when I steal it from that user, well, they were actually the person that screwed up. Somehow they leaked their key, and it's not my application's fault. It's on them. They screwed up their security somehow. So you can hide this really well in a kind of a forest way. But even if you were to decide that you're okay with trusting these developers, or these developers were trusted, there's a place where one key, the developer key that signs the Android applications, if that gets stolen, well, now somebody else, a malicious actor, can do the same upload attack. And instead of the developer being the word trusted, we have a malicious actor who does that update, extracts those keys, and the same scenario happens that I just described before. From a solution perspective, there's a few different approaches that we can take. The first and probably the easiest approach is get a hardware wallet, set it up to be 2-factor authentication with your mobile device, or you don't even have to use the mobile device at this point, but it kind of adds a little bit of nicety to the process. And this gives you a lot more security than just relying only on the mobile application. But now you also have to trust the hardware wallet, which can also have issues with the same kind of process. Next, we want to actually integrate HD key requirements into the key store. That would be an ideal solution that would really, really help this process out. So we can no longer just extract, the developers send the keys back to themselves, lock this down, make it like the current private key functionality that is used and generated within that key store. And then third, we kind of want to rethink authentication key generation across the crypto space. It is fundamentally insane to rely on a 12-word seed phrase to protect your entire set of private keys. If somebody else gets that 12-word seed phrase, they get everything. And that just really doesn't jive with the way that our society and the way that people take on risk. It is far too problematic. I should not lose everything I own based off a 12-word seed phrase. So we have to really actually think about, how do we design systems that can operate in a decentralized environment without having this problem? Lastly, kind of to sum this up, hierarchical deterministic seed phrases are highly vulnerable to attack on Android devices. And I think it's probably worth looking in the future to see if this type of attack that we detailed here has actually been carried out, because there will be signs across the board, and we can reverse engineer applications. We can go through the process of blockchain analysis, and maybe we can catch some of these apps that we believe to be trusted, engaging in maybe not so trustful behavior. And with that, I'm just going to say thanks, and yeah, cool.